So good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Donny Chain Gang with me, Matt Payne. We're live from the Full Speed Events studios down here in the old beer cellars in Eckington, and just looking forward to what is a very busy week. We've got 3 Donny Chain Gangs coming your way this week. Kicking off tonight with the Donny Chain Gang, the open one, which is for any rider. Tomorrow we have the WOW DCG, the women's only Wednesday Donny Chain Gang. So that's, as the name was suggested, for our female riders. And then we have our second DCG, the open one, Donny Chain Gang, on Thursday. Tonight we're in Richmond. We're in Watopia on Wednesday. And on Thursday we are back into Watopia on Tempest Future. In between Climbers Gambit and the women's. And tonight it is the 2015 UCI Worlds Circuit. Now, it's all part of the 12 DCGs of Christmas and the 1080 sponsored event. Got to say a massive thank you to Ian Taylor at 1080. He has stitched together a whole load of prizes, along with lots of support from the team at Saddleback, who are the sponsors of this week's 3 prizes that are going out. Well over £550 worth of goodies going out to people this week. 3 items going out, 1 on each of our rides this week. We've got lots of goodies going out to everybody all the way through. And in fact, we've already had winners so far on the Chain Gang. We've had about 8 winners so far already in the space of the first couple of weeks. So we've got lots of different things going on. And I've got to say a big thank you to them. Last week we had Nonnas as our featured sponsor, along with Halo Caps and the Nonnas basket. It's already seen Trevor Crehan going in and picking it up. We couldn't wait. He was already in there and booked it in. Good to see everybody supporting the people who support the Chain Gang. So we're saying thank you. And with the run into Christmas and into the new year, we thought we'd make sure we do a really big giveaway, and great to have everybody on board. Now, tonight we are in Richmond, as I've said. Before we go there, let's first of all award the prize for one of our members of the DCG gang. So if you don't know what the DCG gang is, it's really straightforward. We don't charge to ride on the ride. We don't charge to watch the footage. The only way, in fact, we actually get any thing to cover the cost of all the computers, the electricity, the kit that we go through, etc., all of the costs for hosting and all the rest of it that we do. And then all that is done by the members of the DCG gang. They are the people who keep the show quite literally on the road. A donation of £20 for the month all the way through this year has meant that we have been able to support them. Now, they get links immediately as they come into us. They get all the links every week. They've already got a heads up. They don't need to register each ride. They get discounts, big discounts from Halo, from OTE, from Veloskin, 1080, along with the guys at Grand Tour Coffee and at Gritty as well. Don't forget, of course, they also get loads of giveaways. Now, it's not exclusive to DCG gang members and the way through the 12 DCGs of Christmas. We want to reward people on the rides as well, because we do know a lot of people can't afford that, joining in and giving us that donation. But I want to say thank you, first of all, foremost, of course, to the members of the DCG gang. So let's dive in, without further ado, into the giveaway. And we have got a great giveaway coming up here, because this is going to be between our riders who are going to be out on the gang, and it is basically going to be between 108 riders, in fact. So it's going to be 108 riders who are going to have the choice of what to go for. So here we go, the random number generator fired up and rolling. So 108, and basically this is everybody who's a member of the, who's contributed to the DCG gang as a all-year member, as a monthly one. Tonight's prize is really expensive. It's a great giveaway, and absolutely love these. They're absolutely the business to wear. The Castelli, from Castelli, the Sportful Fiandra bib tie. Now, basically, a no rain treatment protects all the way over them. Great for riding out in the winter on the Chain Gang. They've got the bottom of the leg and the knee is actually in a Polartec Neo shell, so that basically means it's more elastic. It's going to move better around your knee. Got an opening on the back of the knee on a couple of panels on the sides. Really is great. It's got a thicker fabric on the legs and a lighter fabric on the upper part, basically just to accommodate the warmth of a winter jacket, so you don't get that sort of middle cooked section of you when you have like a massive jacket and a tight. So these tights coming out over £180 is the standard price for these, and we are going to be giving a pair away. They're in women's and men's, so whether it's a women's and men's or a man who takes away the prize. Now, all of our riders on DCG gang, numbered from 1 to 108, who are left eligible. It is one rider, one prize throughout December. So that does mean that the riders can't win something twice. We've already got some winners out of the list. So let's hit the button. 106 right up at the end of this. That is going to be Simon McNamara. Simon, you've just won yourself a set of fantastic Castelli Fiandra bib tights. So well done to Simon McNamara. I'm going to do a little bit of a change on the screens because we don't want to forget who's won. That would be terrible. And we'd have to look back through the video and play it all again. I want to do that, surely. Lots of people do, I know. So, Simon McNamara, Castelli Fiandra Pro tights. We have the jacket to match going out on Thursday. We've also on Wednesday got the Rolls Royce of pocket pumps, the Silca Pocket Impero pump. That's worth about £130. So great to see that's going out. That's going out on the WOW DCG. So congratulations to Simon McNamara, winner of our Castelli Fiandra Pro tights. Well done, mate. We are going to jump out of our giveaway. And we are going to just check our riders. Looks like they're just about getting ready to roll. We will see if we can get hold of the bear. Not always guaranteed to work, but you never know. The tech has been tweaked. We've been spending a little bit of time on sorting it out. And hopefully, on the end of the line, the one and only Russ Downing. How are you doing?
Hello, mate.
How's things? You good?
How's things? You good? Yeah, that just freaked me out a little bit. The old modern technology. I am now talking to you live from the paint cave, but actually through the sound system, which it used to do when I first set it up. And then, tech just changes. So maybe too many Bluetooth devices, like we've said, and now it's currently working as it should do. So, answer my phone, and here I am. I've got a 5 meters by 3 meters loudspeaker.
So it sounds like, Russ, you've got a great setup there ready to go. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to jump straight into the ride. We'll try and catch up with you out on the ride. I've just taken a look at the clock, and it is disappearing fast here. We're only on 1 minute 30 to go, so we're going to let you go breathe the troops, and I'll catch up with you somewhere around the circuit in Richmond.
All right, mate. So, you just WhatsApp me there and said the volume's not good. The speaker, probably microphone, is about 1.5 meters away, so maybe we'll try and switch it to speaker or to actual phone next time, but at least we're getting there on this tech.
Definitely, and it looks like the companion app is working really well, so that's always good news.
That's the best one for me. Rally the troops on that, and we're all good.
Excellent stuff. Right, Russ, we'll catch you soon. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
So great to catch up with Russ. Let's dive into the map and show you exactly where we're heading. So we're going to Richmond. It's one of our favourite courses and a great course to ride. All those members of the DCG gang will have seen my write-up on it as part of the details that they get since they get a heads up on the route, where we're heading, our thoughts on it, mine, Russ's. We have a little bit of a chat beforehand, and then I get that up on there. So going to be really, really interesting to see how the gang runs tonight around what is a tough circuit. Essentially, the first half is flat, the second half is as bumpy as sin. And the riders doing 3 laps of 16.2k, and the gantry coming up at 49.1. Russ, as we've just heard, our yellow beacon, 426 metres of climbing. So lots of climbing today out on the circuit, and that is definitely going to take its toll on our riders. One thing that we do need to flag up on this, of course, is that with all the hills and the bumps, this is likely to split very quickly. Let's show you those hills and bumps as our riders just start to head out from the pens. And you can see we start on the top middle in the centre of the screen, and we work our way around this course in an anti-clockwise direction. So essentially we work our way along the flat top up to the top left-hand corner, into the northwest corner, and then we drop around and down towards the southeast corner, and you can see as we drop down to the river, it's pretty flat down the bottom, but then we have 2 really steep hills, then a long drag up into the finish. Those 3 climbs definitely going to test our riders. They're definitely going to make life difficult for them. We've got to say a massive thank you to Ben Lowe and all of the team at VeloViewer. If you want to get the best stats in the business, make sure you go on to VeloViewer. Get yourself a pro account and you've got even more stats. It's got great summaries. It utilises the power of Strava and gives you so many stats, and more stats than you'd ever care to remember. It's a commentator stream as well, because we use it extensively, my colleagues and myself, to make sure that we've got all of the data. Now, our riders already heading out onto circuit, as you can see, and looks to me like the ride well underway with the group starting to make the way down through the circuit, down in and along the section of course, and hopefully that group is going to pack itself together. If you've not watched before, really simple to see what we're up to. So when we drop in the details up on the screen, top left hand corner, so right up there, you have the watts, the heart rate and the beats per minute. Russ currently his heart rate at 83, 102 revs, 101 revs a minute, similar number of watts at the moment. The speed that they're doing, that's 36 kilometers an hour. You also can see that we've currently covered 0.7k, 0.8, so it ticks up. The height gain already 2 meters, and the time elapsed, that's 1 minute 37, 38, 39. Top right hand side of the screen, we have our map, and you'll see right up in the far corner. Now, if we move it, we can zoom out to see a zoomed out version, zoom in to get 3D, and go across to get the directly above. Now, one of the things that we can't stress too much is that on the screen, although down on the bar over on the far side, you can see the nearest riders to whoever got highlighted, in this case Russ in the blue. There are well over 100 riders, and the moment we go over 100 riders, it guarantees we can't see somebody. So you will always see, everyone can always see the yellow beacon, our ride leader Russ, the red beacon, in this case Andrew Watson, who's going to be our sweeper, our gruppetto bus driver at the back. You can also see the riders, the nearest geographically, the 100 riders to you. So if there are riders 5 minutes back and they're over that 100 rider marker, you ain't going to see them. You just won't see them, which is why our red beacon sits at the back, so we know where the back of the ride is, and the front of the ride is basically where Russ is until that go, go, go. At the go, 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 that is then all hands, everyone for themselves. It's all about getting across that line as fast as possible. That might be in a group, it might be solo. That depends on how our riders want to ride it. So our riders up and rolling, and currently well away. We are going to dive in with the ride here on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel with me and Matt Payne. Let's take a look and see how the riders are rocking along around Richmond. Traditionally, one of our toughest courses on the Donny Chain Gang. So as you can see, our riders are making the way in along. Good to see Paul Cherry's got on. Paul joining into the rider, one of our registering on the day. And you can just see these riders already moving very quickly along as they make the way on circuit here. The group pushing through, and you can just see as they come round through Richmond. This is a course that Russ knows well, having ridden it in real life as well. The riders working the way in and through. I've got to say, it is definitely not the easiest of courses. The first section of this course is very, very tough indeed, with it having the sections up on the top. You can just see on the map we're about to split across. So the riders working the way through and down. We're going to run our way back through the bunch. You can see Liam Callaway in here. Carolina joining us tonight. Mr. Jeffries in there. Carl Johnson. Barry Kipling back in the gang as well. Good to see Barry back with the marathon up in the northeast next year. Down top of us in here, Vin Donahue, Fiona Marshall in, Billy No Mates, Claire Richardson, Mr. Wallace. Tim Cooper saying thank you for the great commentary that we came out. My pleasure, making my life very easy. The riders up at the trophy, they were working really hard. Some great course laid out by Hugh Williams. Very stuff is the business. A great course and definitely one that tested our riders' skills rather than necessarily their physiology. But that's what we love about the National Trophy Series, is it really does test out the riders' skill level. On some courses, the power on others, the speed on the others, they're descending, maybe their tactical nous, their ability to pick the right tyres, and that's what we want to see. It's great to see the gang here. So we're in with Rocket Raccoon. That is Andrew Watson. Watson, of course, one of the fast men of the peloton for many years, and nicely tucked in here. We've got one of our youngsters alongside. That's Matt Gilmore. Matt just in the yellow alongside here, and another of our faster riders, Chris Ball, tucked in. Chris, of course, a winner on the one of the Donny Chain Gang giveaways recently as well. 80s in here. Simon Runnett tucked up near the back of the group. This pack riding well. We're about to come in towards our turn to come around this 180-degree turn. Always fun on the way through around this corner. Goes into the turn here. And if we watch the riders coming in around that turn, that pack nicely together. It's all about keeping the group together until we hit the fast sections. Good to have Andy Hawes back in with us. Andy on his way back after having a little bit of time off. Going to see how he gets on. I think Chris Jake's doing the same. Good to see Ben from Fellow Viewing, the man whose stats give us those fantastic graphics, and great to see Ben on board as well. Let's have a little run through Ted in here now. Ted already a winner on the DCG gang. Ted clearly going in the matching helmet and bike. Actually, I have to say that is one of Ted's better efforts when it comes to being colour coordinated. Maybe not quite still the style of the best dressed man in cycling. That's Nick Dorsey, but very close indeed. And could be giving him a run for his money tonight. So let's have a little look. Daisy Freer tucked in the group here. Daisy, one of our regular riders. Don't forget, of course, we've got the women's only Wednesdays tomorrow. That is actually on Climbers Gambit, and got quite a contingent coming to ride that, because it is part of the next lot of the race series coming up. We've also got in here Becky Story on board. Now, Becky Story is one of the fastest riders. There's a reason that Becky has that Movistar jersey on. Because she is one of the up-and-coming Zwift racing stars who has been through the process and come out on the side. One of the riders who we've had the honour of having on the chain gang and doing the business. And I wouldn't be surprised if Becky rips everybody's legs off tonight, to be honest. Certainly one of the fastest riders in the bunch. And good to see Becky back on the chain gang again. John Catley in here. Neil from the Crosscast on the group. Looks like we've got Chris Gale in here. Just running away. Neil Birmingham was bound to be up to the front a little bit later on. Just keeping a check here as we go through now. Dale Williams, this is a man who you got to watch out for. This course could well suit Dale. Now, the big, full-on Alpine-style climbs definitely don't suit him. However, lots of power and a great kick. So Dale could be the man who is going to be able to put that injection of pace up the climbs and up the steep banks as the first two are cobbled. The second climb, literally around about a minute if we're going flat out, and that is going to be really interesting to see him on there now. Just keeping an idea on how these guys are doing. It is super compact. Gruppo Compacto, which is what we want. So it looks like we've got Lone Rider back in the gang as well. Dave Fulton in here. Just going to work our way through all these riders. It's actually hard to get everybody. Sir Evans is back in. It really is the who's who. John Garfoot in. John, I was actually following earlier on when we were doing some of the testing. So I think last time, yeah, indeed, on here, Xander was given a bit of a kick by the gang by Zwift. I think that now sorted. Here we are, Chris from the Alliance squad in the team here. And Chris, known for his facial hair. Let's see how he goes tonight. Trish Seeley on board, another of our riders getting stronger and stronger as the weeks go on. And again, another of our regulars on the Donny chain gang. And known for doing 3 in a row. Doing the 2 DCGs and the WOW DCG sandwiched in between. Not sure that's a great idea this week, but what we have done is that the route today is a bumpy one. The route tomorrow has got the big climb. It is the Climber's Gambit, so we finish on top of the epic KOM. And then, because everybody's legs will be tired from going up climbs, guess what we've got? We have the Tempest Fugit, the super flat, super fast, nice and easy, no big hills on the way through the desert on Thursday. So that is going to mean our riders have a little bit of respite on the way through. Good to see young Tom Lindley in the gang. A man who's going to be called young even when he's in his 50s and 60s. Never mind in his 70s, he will always be young Tom Lindley to us. It seems to Sudbury in here. Nick Dorsey, the best dressed man in cycling. Do need to have a little bit of a check on the sartorial elegance of Mr. Dorsey's gone very monochromatic, I think, here. So a very nice black and white number. I'd like that. That's a very simple matching helmet as well on there as well. Looking very good. So good to see that Nick Dorsey's done the business again and got the kit and nice matching touch on the bikes as well. So Dorsey, best dressed man in cycling, does it once again. Speaking of Xander Graham, Xander in here. Now, last time we were on here, Xander basically could ride off from everybody on the climbs. He's got to be fancying his chances tonight. Xander racing in the National Trophy down at the course in Cyclo Park in Gravesend in Kent. Doesn't quite look like his avatar, I have to say. You can see Jimmy Allen here. Jimmy, of course, riding on Thursday. Jimmy the Wolf Allen, one of our key riders on the chain gang, part of the team that makes it happen. We have 3 main beacons on the chain gang. We've got Russ the Bear, our main leader on the Thursdays. When Russ is otherwise occupied, then Jimmy stands in. Jimmy's our is known as the Wolf. Sneaks up, sends a surprise attack, always waiting to pounce, and can sometimes be known to go do a lone long attack. So definitely a wolf. We have the boss on the women's DCG, and that is Emma. Emma, of course, down in cycling coached rider, a coach in her own right, as well as keen racer rider riding for the AO race team, the Aeonian race team. And always good to see all the different styles. It's all about communication, about making sure everybody's going out there and pinging out and around. So it's all about making sure that those guys are looked after. So let's see how the team go on. So it looks like Eddie just tucked onto the back of the group. Russ at the moment just starting to push our beacon just out of the back of the group here at 2.7 watts per kilo. Well, it's like we have Mr. McInnes back in with us. This is interesting. Now, this is one of our really strong riders last year. Stuart McInnes was one of the real big powerhouses. We could rely on him to put in big turns, big attacks when it came to the bumpy courses. Good to see Struan is back on with us again. The group just spread out a little bit here. We've got a little bit of a split forming between the group. Struan just pushing his way up towards the front at the moment. I'm just going to keep an eye on Russ. Was just going to bring, I think, Eddie Dench and Liam Calloway back into the gang. 15 seconds from the back of the bunch to Russ at the moment. So hopefully Eddie going to be able to jump onto the back wheel of Russ on the way through. Liam Calloway will give it a kick, I'm sure. So remember, as we always say, key to riding the Donny Chain Gang is about making sure that you all stay with yellow until that trigger point. At the moment, it looks like that is happening. Up at the front of the group is together, but Russ just attached out the back of the group a little bit there. And the problem with the being detached from the group is if you get dropped, then you've got to go absolutely skyrocket up through the pace to get back into the group. So the gang now just steadily cresting the top of the slope here. You can just see the yellow beacon coming up towards the line. Our riders well strung out over the top. This is one of the toughest courses out there for keeping the gang together. It requires great patience, and also the riders do need to show restraint over the top. If you push over the top, you'll stretch out. And as far as we're concerned, obviously the front of the group is the group where Russ is, the yellow beacon, and the red beacon is the back of the group, hence why we're focused on Russ. Alright, it's out on lap number 1 of 3. First of the hills complete. Now the riders drop down. They're going to take the left, right and right, and then it's going to be the sprint up over the top. Hopefully our riders being smart and keeping the pressure off. So our riders up onto the big climb here. This is the steep section up the 23rd Street section. This is where it gets pretty tough kicking up over onto the top. Our riders just working hard at the moment, just getting a check here. So looks like that minute marker about right at the moment for our riders coming in and through. So that group just starting to come back together again. And that's what we tend to see as you watch the riders on this circuit, because it basically goes up and down. It's basically a sawtooth profile as you come in through and over around the turns. Then you can actually see this is very, very tough. So riders just coming in through the finish. Definitely not multitasking, putting balls on the tree. Has to be said. Multitasking doing other things, but not balls on the tree. Right this moment in time. Just whilst it yo-yos. Just let the pictures tell the story rather than putting words in. So you can see we've got Chris Lawrence on the gang. So only a little bit of a check. Chris giving it a bit of a kick to just try and get onto the back of the group. Can't afford to let it go for a second. He's got Jimmy Allen just in front. And Craig Gensler just coming up behind Raccoon. We know he's got the pace to be right up there. So Luke Hand just after a little bit of stop on his way up in and through. Good to see Jimmy just pulling a few bodies in. Chris in here, Mr. Dobson in here, Craig Gensler, Keith Richardson, Kevin Smith all rolling around the back of the gang here, just keeping everybody together. So with our riders back on to 23rd Street. Back with you once again. Apologies for the break in service. Just having to do a little bit of catch up with the riders distance out the back of the group. Quite a large number of riders actually behind the back of the main pack out on race circuit, on the ride circuit. So just a little bit of TLC back there, along with a couple of other bit of admin jobs at the back. Obviously, we've got 3 chain gangs in a row tonight, so need the setup to be working absolutely spot on, and several updates on the way through. And indeed, as Russ says, also resting my voice for when we hit into the final section. A busy weekend over the weekend, and at the moment the voice definitely needed for the gigs in real life, let's say, that covered the bills. That's the essentials. So as we can just see, we've got Mr. Langmead. He's just coming up on to the 23rd Street climb, just closed on the back wheel of Woodall. Not the last out on the course by any stretch of the imagination, but Rich Langmead, one of our great red beacons, just making his way up here at 4.5 watts per kilo. We got Steve on the way up the climb here, just going up and through the gantry. So Rodney on the way through. So for those people who are popping questions up on there, no, I'm not Yoda. I can't levitate. Really easy to go and tell you, no, I'm not on the leash. Apparently I am, Chris, what you said. What else do we have? Not being paid by the word. Oh, I wish I was paid for the Donny Che again. That would be nice. Russ and I use the funds that come in from the DCG gang to cover the costs. The DCG gang, basically the entire income from the entire revenue that comes in. Ted, yes, I am okay. John Gufford, yeah, sign up running apart from the thing. Just because I'm not speaking doesn't mean I'm not watching. Big Brother is always watching on the way through. And the screens don't change themselves, let's face it. Right, on to the climb coming up towards the end of lap number 2. This final climb up to the top, just coming around the right-hand turn. It's the long, draggy bit of a beast of a climb. It's come up in towards the top, just with crosscast nil-nil, and riding at the National Trophy over the weekend. Jimmy Allen tucked in and around the yellow beacon already. See Daisy Freer tucked in with the group. Mr. Smithson in here as well. So Keith up and over the top of the lap and just coming through that lap line as he makes his way around. Just see the gap opening to the group in front. Mr. Malin just having to fight to stay on the back here. 2 laps in, 1 to go. Looks like Nick tucked in the group. Mr. Gilmore just disappearing backwards at the pace. Could have Nick on board. Winner on Saturday, a rider who was right up there on the Sunday race as well, one of the most technical courses, and you'd expect to see Nick from Scott being one of those riders who is going to be in the mix. And you can see the numbers on the front of this group just all rolling around about that 2.5 to 3 watts per kilo, just nicely across. It's just now pure dynamics of the draft as this group works its way down. We're just steadily working our way back through the pack. It just takes a little bit of time to get ourselves right the way back down and through. So Paul Cherry gone, Mr. Topless has gone, Beefy just tucked on the back there. It's good to have Ruth Taylor back on the chain gang. From Cycleways just making his way around the turn. We're going to be taking the right hand turn. So just with Ted, looks like Sir Rodney just behind him, Mr. Langmead and Borelli. Looks like Steve on the back. Teddy's our beacon on Thursday, indeed. He has the duties on Thursday when we're at Tempest Fugit, and you're going to have John Lee, I think it is, on women's Red Beacon duties tomorrow. The women's gang are usually our showcase of just how the chain gang can hold itself together nicely. So we have Steve and Mr. Burley, Mr. Langmead and Ted as the go goes up at the front. Expect lots more people now to disappear out the back of that group. Ruth Taylor, Mr. Chappell, Paul Malin. Chris Darby on the back, Andy Scullen just holding in that, Andy Hawes just holding that group, Nick Dorsey on the back of the group, Fiona Marshall in this group, Simon Runner in here. It's like Ellis on the gang, Doug Leash in this pack. We're just working our way up towards the front at the moment. You can just see the gang now starting to separate out. Looks like Tracy Seeley nicely tucked in with that lead in the group as well. Russ right up here. Xander Graham in the mix, still holding in here. He's going to be saving his powder, I'm sure, for when it gets very, very spicy up onto those climbs. We're just going to get our way right the way up onto the front and work our way through those 100 riders. See if we can make our way right to whoever's sat on the front. It's Mr. Genther, so Craig Genther currently leading out the chain gang. And once that go, go, go has gone, and the go, 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 of course, the marker point at which the leaders start to stretch their legs, start to open up the ride and start to make sure that they can be in the right place at the right time. Is key to all this is about making sure that you know exactly where everybody is. Now on the course where you know where the big hitters are. I was watching Kieran Brown go through, Scott Easter in here, Craig Genther, Keith Richardson. Looks like Becky Story still tucked in here, the Movistar rider just riding strongly. Back on the chain gang once again. Kieran Brown just pushing up on the front here. You can just watch this pack, this revolving door on the front. So it looks like Keith Hayward and Colin Bell just getting back together a little bit further through the group. Meanwhile, up on the front looks to be like it is going to be Kieran Brown, who's starting to wind this up on the front on the Tron bike. A good bike for this course. So Kieran Brown leading, OZK chasing. Dale Williams coming through at some speed now, so Williams wanting to keep that pace high. He goes up onto the front here. Is he going to catch them all napping here? Remember that if you've got the pace and the power, you can go clear on this course and stay clear. It's all about breaking those groups up. This is a big pack. As we scroll back through it, you can see this bunch still holding together. We're looking for the first big gap, really. Looks like it's going to be at the back of Chris Ball. Back to run it. So this is the gap back from Ball and Wilson on the back. It's back to run it, who's at 5 seconds. Immediately behind him, you can see this big group coming. That's got Conley, Cherry, Daisy Freer in there, Evans, Pillsworth, Mason's in here. Bobby Mason. Do you know, Bobby Mason, each time we ride, he goes faster and faster. He really is on a good vein of form and just getting quicker and quicker as they come in through here. Colin here, Horses in the group. Next going to be about 15 seconds back. This is our next group. This is going to be the third group on the road, just making the way up. That's Holsworth and Cannon with Chris Hesseltime James in there. Then 16 seconds back, got our two riders through. Then we're heading back through the rest of the pack. So this front group continuing onwards. Xander Graham tucks in here, the man who had a victory taken from him by the vagaries of the warning. When you're young and you're little, you get flagged up if you have too high a watts per kilo, and he fell foul of that in a big way last time we were here. Will it be the same again? Well, we're soon going to find out, because we're just about to make our way around these turns, which won't be long before we drop down to that low point, and then we have those three final climbs that are going to really split everything apart. You can see Pete Treble still in the mix here. Looks like Dowshree in the gang as well. Easter in here, looks like Jeffries in here, Mantis in that, Dave Fulton in, Potts in here, looks like Easter's in this mix as well. Claire Richardson at the moment tucked in with this group. Claire Richardson, another of our real fast riders who's always in the mix, and Claire in that Castelli jersey. You can see the Castelli jersey in action. Don't forget, of course, Castelli giveaway on Thursday as well as today, so it's going to be a Fiandra Pro jacket that we're giving away on Thursday. Big thanks to Ian Taylor and all of the team at 1080 who have sorted all the prizes out, and with the support, of course, of Saddleback, who have been long-term supporters of riders on the chain gang as well. So Claire sat in this group with the power drop out to Becky Story. Means Becky no longer in the front group here. Just watching them go through the next section. You can just see every time they go through. Just go through Broad Street at the moment. Those gaps open. Tracy Seeley in this group along with Claire Richardson. Rich Orrell in the mix as well. Just up on the front. A little bit of a group just starting to go clear. And that's dangerous for the riders a little bit further back. We're just going to go up to the front. Kieran Brown has just started to open a little bit of a gap. He's got Varty, Genther and Oliver with him as well. So just a little bit of pace through that sprint. And you can just see Neil Morn just starting to push now. So here we go, just coming up on to the climb up over the top. Kieran Brown in that green jersey on the pink Tron bike, leading them in and through, down onto the descent now over the top. Morn goes up onto the front. This is where the pace starts to lift. This is where things start to get quick and busy. This is where you can get distance just going over the top. Anybody who is off the back of the group is going to be in trouble now. You can just see Jimmy Allen, the Wolf, is making his way across. Remember, Jimmy, the rider leader, when Russ is otherwise busy, just making his way in at the front of the rest of that pack. And the rest of the gang look to be working well behind. You can just see the back of this group. So a little look, I think, carry on here. Hardcastle just making contact again. Chris Ball and Crease there. I think it's 25 seconds back. So Crease and Ball, I think, are in trouble here. Crease has lost the power, so he's out of there. Ball, I think, now dropped. He's not going to get back on. Carry's been dropped now. Now, back of that pack, once you lose that wheel, you are in serious trouble. And if you look back, you can see those two riders behind Ian Bale. Now, Tracy Seeley, I think, has clung into the back of that group. Tracy on that purple Trek bike at the moment, just coming up onto the back wheel of Young, along with Hardcastle and Stevie G. You can just see a little bit of a gap opening to those three behind. They've got to push on. They can't afford to let those gaps go. So Cass at the moment on the back of that group. We're just taking a little bit of a look. I think these three riders now, they're in trouble. They're 1 second down. Young, Steve G, Tracy Seeley. These three are in danger of losing that wheel. The gap has gone. And that's another three riders who won't be in the mix when we come into the hills. The pace on that descent really hard, particularly if you're a lighter rider. The women's avatars really are tough. To drive down the hillside. They're lighter, but don't have the same power as the men generally. It's very rarely you find that raw power, but what you do find is that the Swift has a habit of punishing on the downhills if you're a lighter rider, and it just shows you just how amazing our riders are on the chain gang. Just see Tracy Seeley there at 6.2, but the gap has gone, and you're not going to get that back now at this stage. So Russ tucked in at the back at Williams in here. Neil from the Crosscast on there. Looks like one rider just starting to push on the front. We're going to work our way up to see who it is. Okay, Craig Genther on a long one again. So Craig just winding it up. Tom Lindley's going to go over the top here. So it's going to be Lindley who's going to go up into the lead of the Donny Chain Gang. Well, John Catley's got the right power up. He's got himself a feather, which is good to see. Exactly what you want. You just want three of them. Now, over the top goes Kieran Smith. Kieran currently pushing just under 5 watts per kilo. Lindley and Brown jumping onto the back there. Nick Craig up in the mix. Good to see Craigie riding strongly here. So let's see how he goes. So just starting to push up. Tom's just won 2 B races, has he been? That is good going, well done, Tom. Good to see Tom get some good racing in. I'm not surprised he's won a couple of races, to be honest, because he's definitely riding very strongly indeed. Let's see if he can take this out now. Craigie sat in here. We're coming into this run up. If we push this out, you can just see we're going to be coming into that section, of course, that the riders all know is coming. It's that cobble climb. And this is where things are going to get really interesting indeed. Now up on the front, Scott Easter just starting to try and drag strip this out as he comes in, just getting a little bit of sliding around. I think some of these big guns behind are going to push at the moment they come in. Now we're onto the climb. Here we go. 7 watts per kilo coming out from the man from Sherwood Pines. Kieran Brown has gone for this already. He's gone early on the first climb. Kieran Smith responding in the black to Kieran Brown in the green. Behind him and Lindley in the orange. These three riders just pushing. They're starting to open a gap. You can see behind Eddie Dench leading the charge behind Kieran Brown now up at nearly 9 watts per kilo. They're going to be coming up into the big turns here, and it's all strung out. So Kieran Brown, Kieran Smith, Tom Lindley, Pete Drabble, Mike Gilmore, Dale Williams, as they come up round this turn, you can just see Brown and Smith. Brown at 10 watts per kilo now, Smith at 11 watts. They're just really giving it some serious pace. Gilmore's seen the danger. Gilmore is coming up speed here. I think Gilmore's going to come up. The first person over the top is going to be, I think, Kieran Smith, but Gilmore is coming at some speed here, and it could well be that Gilmore's going to take him on the climb. Smith still has the front. They're going to come up to the line. It's going to be close. Through they go. Who's going to get the fastest time? It is Gilmore, a 1:04 up there. That is scary quick. And 4 riders now potentially have a chance to start to go clear. Maybe 5 to 13 seconds on everybody else. Excuse me. So if they regroup here, so we've got Kieran Smith on the front. So it's Smith in 1. It's Brown in 2. It is Gilmore in 3. It's Williams in at 4. Using that power. These climbs, if you are a punchy rider and you've got some decent power, this is a great course. These 2 climbs, the first 2 of the 3, mean that you can really use that power. You can give it big kick. A 1-minute climb is quick, really fast, and that means you can power it on a sprint effort up over the top. And so next up will be 23rd Street. 38 seconds is the current fastest time. It's not going to be 38 seconds any more as they come up and over. It started off at a minute, it's down to 38. It'll go a lot less than that as we go over the top. These 4 riders now. So in the bright yellow, that is Gilmore. Gilmore very quick indeed, and could well be the rider who's going to take this out as they come up here now. Kieran Smith and Kieran Brown giving it a lot of power as they come up here now. Williams starts to kick. And this is the steeper of the climbs here. It goes to 12%, but these 4 riders with 12 seconds over everybody else. What time are we going to see Kieran Brown do over here? 38.8 seconds was the fastest time. What time is he going to do? Takes 10 seconds off that. 38 down to 28 seconds. The first 3 riders through, and they've distanced Williams. Williams has gone pop here. Look at those numbers, 2.2. Set a new PB going over the top, but he hasn't got the pace or the power to sit with Kieran Smith, Kieran Brown, and Matt Gilmore. These 3 youngsters on the way down. Kieran Brown, the oldest of these 3, and Kieran Brown is not old by anybody's reckoning, but he is the oldest of the 3. Then I'm not sure between Mike Gilmore and Kieran and Smith. I think Kieran Smith probably the second oldest. So this is going to be a really interesting finish. Our 3 fast riders on here, 3 youngsters up on the front now. Behind us, Xander Graham is the nearest rider to them. He's currently got a 1-second gap on Elliott and all the rest of this bunch. Jimmy Allen, Eddie Dench on the way down here. Birmingham down here. Lindley's down here. Russ tucked in at the back of that group, but the riders that they are chasing, well, they're 30 seconds up the road, and they are going to have 1 more climb to go. You can just see this final climb. It starts to drag up. It then takes the right turn. Once you do that right turn, the gradient increases, and it stays fairly consistent around the left-hand turn and up onto the top. But who has the power? Who has the pace of these 3 riders? They're now at 20 seconds to Tom Elliott, Eddie Dench. Looks like Jimmy Allen, Russ Downing, Tom Lindley, Neil Birmingham, Dale Williams in here. Cass Smithson and co. a lot further back now, 16 seconds back, but 15 seconds up the road now. Now, these 3 riders, with the rider leading them up the hill, it is Kieran Brown, Matt Gilmore, just putting in a little bit of a kick in behind. They can see the chasers coming behind them. They're at 13 seconds now. So the chase is coming. That yellow beacon is on its way. We wait for it to round the corner as Kieran Brown continues to push his way up this slope. 7% now. Gilmore moves into second place. Kieran Smith in third place. And there's the beacon. That gap at 12 seconds. And Kieran Smith could be in danger of being closed down here. Kieran Smith has dropped to 4.8. He's distance from the gang. Jimmy Allen is only 9 seconds behind him, but it's Brown and Gilmore who are leading the race to the finishing line. You can just see on the map, the pen's up on the right-hand side. We're going to come into that right-hand corner. Now, who's your money on here? This is going to be really tight here. We've got Gilmore and we've got Brown, the two riders on the front here. Gilmore in the bright yellow, Brown in the green. Who is going to put in the kick to the finish? Brown has the greater experience here. The finish line will come pretty quickly. Gilmore, though, has been shown he's got a very fast finish on him. It's between these two riders, just riding in with Gilmore at the moment. And Gilmore has gone for the full-on lightweight bike option, whereas Kieran Brown will have the advantage in terms of pace from the bike as they come up in towards that sprint. Now, Kieran Brown has the better bike. Now Gilmore goes first. Gilmore's going to wind this up. Brown is responding to this. Gilmore's at 12, 13 watts per kilo. Can Kieran Brown answer this? I'm not sure he can. This is the rider who started to go clear. He put a 13 watt per kilo kick in. He's opened up the gap, and I think he's got this. He's got this. He went early. He broke Brown really early, so Gilmore comes across in one. It's going to be Brown into Kieran Smith. He's going to hold them off behind third. Then it's going to be Graham nearly catching him on the line there. Great ride by Graham. Then it's Birmingham, followed by Elliott. Then it's going to be Lindley. Oh, almost gets him on the line as well. Then Jimmy Allen comes through with AD Dedge, leading home the bear behind Dale Williams, who's in that initial breakaway behind these riders now. So it's going to be Eddie Dench followed by Russ Downing on the way in through the line. Then it's going to be Dale Williams. Dale just pushes his way through, not to be his day today. Bit too bumpy for Dale, I think, there. Just those repeater kicks. Then it's Potts being followed through by Smith. Then Emsley just ahead of Jeffries. Then Genther, Corby come in and through. Cass and Oliver, Neil from the Crosscast chasing them into the line. He's going after Ben from Veloviewer, but Ben is going to be the man who's going to go through next. So Ben from Veloviewer ahead of Neil from the Crosscast. I think OZK just beating Hardcastle. Then it's going to be our first female rider, and that is going to be Claire Richardson yet again, doing an amazing job of getting in and through. Nick Craig comes through with Scott Easter. So they come through just about top 20 there. It's going to be Reaney, followed by Singleton and Mantis. Smithson only a couple of seconds down, then West and Varty. The next two riders to the line. Clark on his way in. He's got Chris Gale behind. Here comes Gale in the grey. Then it's going to be Dalgleish. Dalgleish just in front of Tim Cooper. Tim getting that aero power up, making sure that runs in to the line. Behind him then, going to have Neil Morn. Neil, one of our beacons, not too distant future. He comes through. Then we've got Asher Dowtry. Dowtry comes in. Then we're going to have Mr. Richardson. Callaway, Liam on his way in. So Liam Callaway is going to be our next rider into the finish. So Callaway comes in and through, going to be 1:19.40 for him. It's going to be Dave Fulton, then it's going to be Mick Clark, John Catley, John Forey, Mr. Gale, Gary Lyson. So then it's going to be Simon Runnitz. Behind them then Wilson and going to be Harper. The two behind, I think, Simon going to get in just in front of them there. You can just see them in the distance behind. So through underneath the gantry goes Simon. Then it is Wilson and Harper being followed by Bale, Conley. And then it's going to be Dobson and Garfoot. John Garfoot, who went out and did a whole load of miles earlier on. Curran and then Ball and Kerry. Kerry just leading that group home. Rowan Dubash pushing to the line with a big kick into the finish. Carl Johnson comes through the line. Then it's going to be Daisy Freer. Daisy doing a great job there. Daisy, I think, going to be our next female rider in through the line. Tracy Seeley goes through behind us. So Freer goes through second. Tracy Seeley in third place there. Fiona Marshall goes through in fourth place in the in our female riders. Don't forget, of course, we've got the women's only Wednesday coming up on tomorrow, and that is going to be underneath up the climb of the Climbers Gambit. So that's going to be a tough one. So Forrester, Ferren and Gang come in and through. Andy Hawes just behind, then it's going to be Hilbert. So it'll be Hilbert, then Mason, and then Richardson. There are next riders just coming in and through the line. Bobby Mason and Richardson just on the way in. You see Bobby just pushing for that finishing line. Then it's going to be Richardson, followed by Wharfdale Phil. And then Brown and Richards behind. So Richard's just down on the bank. Derby on his way up. I think Derby at the moment is going to catch him before the line here. So Keith Richards is about to get past. There he goes. It's going to be Chris Derby who's on his way. Chris, a winner on the Donny Chain Gang Tour DCGs Christmas stuff. Get winner today, winning a really nice pair of the Castelli Sportful 300 Pro tights. Great bit of kit. Then it's going to be Richards and then Chris from the Alliance squad. So Chris and James on his way in. Hopefully Chris not pushing those lungs too much. Chris on his recovery back from the plague. So just making his way up towards the line. Immediately behind him, you can just see the next two riders coming up. That's going to be Woodall and Cannon. So Woodall just kicking some big numbers out there. 8 watts per kilo, just coming ahead of Cannon and Oldsworth with Lone Rider, the next rider due to hit the line. Nobody in sight behind. Looks like it's going to be about 46 seconds to our next rider. So Lone Rider on the way into the line in that trademark cut all black kit with the blue Tron bike today that nicely matches the ride-ons in the back pocket. Good job done by a Lone Rider. We're going to steadily work our way back down because we're just going to go hunt for Jim Flynn. So Jim at the moment on the base, just heading in towards the turns in towards that climbing section. Steve just over the top of the first climb, coming up in towards the second. Darren Topless just in front, doing pretty much the same. Keith Hayward now on that run up in towards the finishing climb. Mr. Langmead is on the base of the climb. Rodney on the base of that climb as well. So is Chris Canham. Chris a little bit further up the climb. Looks like Andy Scothen on the run up in front of Canham on that run to the finish. Then it's going to be Chapel and Sudbury with Ruth Taylor just pushing in for the line here. Ruth's going to come across, I think it's going to be the fourth of our female riders. Just closing in on the back wheel on Mr. Malin here. So it's going to be Malin, our next rider in. So Taylor comes over the top here, and it is going to be Ruth Taylor, next of our riders into the line. So Malin goes through after Ruth Taylor. Then it is going to be Mr. Sudbury going through. Well done to him. Then Mick Chappell goes in through the line with Andy Scullen chasing. Well done, gang. So let's take a look at Mr. Canham on the climb and riding well. He's on his way up here. Jim just down on that lower section at the back of the course. So around the turn comes Chris Canham leading, Richard Langmead in with Sir Rodney in front. And it's going to be tight between these riders. So I think Sir Rodney going to lead the charge in to the World's Arch here. And the finishes the lap finish coming up. And it is going to be Sir Rodney with the kick to the line. He's got to stay clear of Canham. Canham behind him is coming hard, but I think Sir Rodney should get this. It's going to be close, though, between these two. Oh, look at this. Canham is pushing hard behind him. Canham has got less watts per kilo, but he must be the slightly bigger rider. It's going to be tight, but Sir Rodney pushes in for the line. He goes through, so Sir Rodney from Canham. Real good kick. Then it's going to be Richard Langmead coming through. Langmead goes in. He's just ahead of Keith Hayward. Hayward on this climb, just behind Hayward. I think you're just going to see that's going to be Darren Topless. So Keith making his way up on to the top now. This slight drag, it's 1%, but it's just enough to make things difficult as you come up over the top after what has been a really bumpy, hilly back end of the lap. 3-4 laps for our riders. Currently going to be inside that hour and a half marker for Keith Hayward and Darren Topless. Steve Cannon potentially going to just about squeeze in underneath that point as Hayward pushes into the line. He's going to be our next rider in. So Hayward in the front in the pink and blue. He comes up to the line, goes over the through the line, and then Darren Topless chasing behind. Good ride by Darren once again. Good to see him back in action. Then going to be Steve out on the course. This is Clarion Steve. So Steve on the climb, onto that final climb now. Jim Flynn, I think was Jim. Jim zigzagging his way up on to the cobbled climb at the moment. So Steve makes his way up on this final climb, and just a few thank yous. A massive thank you to the team at Saddlebag supporting Ian Taylor and all the gang at 1080 with the 1080 12 DCGs of Christmas. And the gang at 1080 making sure everybody is going to get those prizes super fast. We've got to say a big thank you to all the Saddlebag gang. That Castelli kit, really, really nice and going to be going out. Remember, we've got a jacket to give away on Thursday. That's well over £200 of jacket. We've also got, of course, the Silka Impero pump coming from Castelli, and that is coming out tomorrow, and that's going to be on the WOW DCG. The WOW DCG coming to you live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel once again, and it is one of the big climbs that we've used. It's a mountaintop finish for our riders tomorrow as they go up to the top of the Climbers Gambit, and that is basically about a 28k climbing route. It's 30 in total because that includes the descent down, out and over, and that is going to test our riders for certain. It was used only once before on the Donny Chain Gang. Now we've used that in this winter. Coming into the Christmas period, there are lots more rides to come. Don't forget, we run right the way up to the new year with the 12 DCGs of Christmas. Some more great prizes coming, including Oakleys, including some custom Oakleys. We've got some great Castelli kit. There is so much going to be heading the way of our members. I'm really looking forward to that. Congratulations to Malcolm, Tiff, Caroline, Andrew, Trevor, Chris, Neil, Sammy and Simon, our winners so far, and just got a message back from Simon saying thank you very much. Good stuff, Simon, and hope the elbow is healing steadily as he's been on and off, but great to have him on there. So he had surgery 3 weeks ago. It sounds pretty tough stuff, but looking forward to seeing you again soon. Hopefully that'll make the year a little bit better. Getting some nice Castelli bib tights. The those danglies when it comes to bib tights from Castelli, the top of the range ones from them. So great to have that support from the team at Saddleback. So Clary and Steve in and through the line, and Steve just is at 131 mark. Jim Flynn onto the big long downhill. 2 climbs for Jim to go. So Jim powering the downhill now, going up onto the top, onto this climb. You can see just how steep it is on here. Actually following on the low camera track here. This big kicker goes up onto the cobbles. It only rolls off the gradient. In fact, as you go up and over the top of the cobbles, a 12% gradient, and that makes life very tough indeed. You can just see if we drop across to the side. Our riders coming off from the base here in Richmond up on to those cobbles, with that gantry coming up in front. And the climb here, a real brute. Those cobbles very, very difficult, particularly if you've got a turbo that bounces the bike about. So the climb cresting, Jim coming up over the top here, so he'll come through us at any time on the way in and through. So Jim through the left turn coming up, just hidden by the crowds at the moment. Our rider going through the crowd and dropping down the side of the Zwift icon there. And this descent, when the great descent, that little kicker on the way down, you hardly notice, just breaks the rhythm a little bit as you're riding down. Jim now on his run down towards the flatlands at the bottom. He's got a little bit of a flat section before that drag starts kicking up towards the top of the climb. So still at minus 1% as he comes down here. This now -2. Just another slight drop down. You can just see the river on the map in front. You see the bridges just in front of you, and the flyovers. The area here in Richmond, home to the 2015 World Championships, of course. And this is a replica of that course. If you are a member of DCG Gang, don't forget the links on there include a link in about about the win by Peter Sagan here. So Jim now on the drag to that right-hand turn. You just see those barriers up in front that are going to funnel Jim around that right turn and up on to the climb proper. Although this bit feels proper enough because it just starts to drag up. It increases all the way up this little slope into the right turn. So Jim coming up on to climb that steep little corner on his way through, kicks about 12% actually as you go around that right hand turn if you're tight on the inside. Jim continues to push in. He's got the section basically climb up here. There's a couple of steps on the way up with a couple of little sections where it eases on the way through, which always help. And then you get to take the left hand turn, that gantry deceptively far away actually as you go over the top of the course, but definitely an interesting part of the course as our riders come through. So Jim maintaining a good pace here, taking along at 2.5 to 2.6 watts per kilo all the way on this climb, just coming into this left-hand turn here. Just keeping that pace nice and steady. And just see if we zoom the map out, once you come around this left turn, you go around past the pens. And the full speed events avatar actually just stuck in those pens. And the riders, as soon as you come around this left turn, can see as you can, that gantry in front. And that does make a big difference. You know it's not that far, but it is surprisingly long time to get there. Whenever you're chasing a time coming in here, it's always horrible because you can see that clock ticking away. Currently got 1 hour 38 on the clock for Jim as he pushes for the landing grade, easing to 1% here, and we're now on that nasty little draggy section coming in towards the finish. So let's drop a ride on down on Jim. There you go. So you're getting a ride on from Full Speed Events from us here. And as Jim makes his way into Waterline, just remains for me to say thank you very much for watching the Donny Chain Gang live here on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel. We're back again tomorrow with the WOW DCG. Emma leading the Women Only Wednesdays Donny Chain Gang. That's going to be on the Climbers Gambit. Then we're into the flatlands of Tempest Future on Thursday, led by Russ once again. So a big thank you from myself, Matt Payne, from Russell, from everybody on the Donny Chain Gang. Jim in and through. Now just a warm down to do. We'll see you again tomorrow on the Donny Chain Gang.